When a cocky tourist believed his money and status gave him the right to taunt a royal guard, he never expected Sir Edward's response to stun everyone watching. The guard's unwavering dignity turned the confrontation into a viral sensation, igniting outrage and admiration in equal measure. What happened next not only shattered the tourist's arrogance, but also sparked a movement to reclaim respect for tradition. But it all started with one impulsive act. The sun peeked over the horizon, casting a golden glow on London's iconic skyline. Big Ben chimed its familiar tune, marking the start of another bustling day at Trafalgar Square. Amidst the sea of red buses and historic architecture stood Sir Edward Banks, a stoic guard in his bright red uniform and the unmistakable bearskin hat. He was the epitome of discipline and honor, a living symbol of British heritage. Every morning, rain or shine, Sir Edward knew his place and duties by heart, meticulously maintaining order with unwavering attention. Today was no different. Sir Edward stood sentinel, his gaze fixed and movements precise. Tourists swarmed the square, eager to capture the perfect photo with the legendary guards. Laughter and chatter filled the air, blending with the distant hum of city life. Yet, amidst the orderly chaos, a group of young tourists caught Sir Edward's eye, clearly here for more than just sightseeing. One of them, a tall guy wearing a flashy t-shirt and a backward baseball cap, decided to test the guard's patience. "Hey man, smile for the camera!" he shouted, raising his phone as if his mere presence could bend Sir Edward's ironclad demeanor. Sir Edward remained impassive, offering only a slight nod before returning his vigilant watch over the crowd. But this only fueled the young tourist's fire. "Come on, dude, smile! You're not a robot or something!" Seriously? Who does he think he is? It's not like a smile is going to turn him into a Buckingham Palace guard overnight. The guard's silence hung in the air, thickening the tension. The crowd began to take notice. Some chuckled at the audacity, others frowned in disapproval. It was clear that a conflict was brewing. The young tourist, emboldened by his group, edged closer, his confidence swelling with each passing second. "What's the matter, tough guy? Can't handle a little fun?" We all know this isn't just about a smile. It's about respect, or the blatant lack thereof. These tourists, with their disposable income and sense of entitlement, think they can treat centuries-old traditions like a casual street performance. As the guy persisted, trying to pry the guard's hat slightly askew, Sir Edward's posture remained unchanged, exuding a quiet strength that seemed almost out of place in the modern frenzy. The absurdity of the situation wasn't lost on the onlookers, sparking a mix of amusement and irritation. "Seriously? You think you're better than us because you're in a uniform? Think again," the tourist snapped, attempting to loosen the guard's composure. But Sir Edward stood his ground, embodying the very essence of British resilience. His calm demeanor contrasted sharply with the tourist's escalating frustration, highlighting the deep-seated clash between old-world traditions and today's rampant consumerism. Some in the crowd began recording the interaction, their phones capturing every tense moment. Comments bubbled up online, mirroring the frustration and disbelief felt by many viewers. "Who throws stones at guards anymore? This is beyond disrespectful," one commenter wrote. Another added, "Sir Edward is handling this like a true gentleman. These tourists need a lesson in respect." The stage was set. The quiet before the storm, where tradition met modern arrogance head-on. As the morning sun continued its ascent, the seeds of an inevitable showdown were firmly planted, promising that today's encounter would leave a lasting impression far beyond the confines of Trafalgar Square. The morning sun was high, casting sharp shadows across Trafalgar Square. Sir Edward Banks stood unwavering, his red tunic a stark contrast against the historic stone. The square buzzed with activity. Vendors hawked souvenirs, street performers entertained, and tourists jostled for the perfect shot with the stoic guards. But amidst the usual chaos, the same group of young tourists from yesterday lingered, their intentions far from innocent sightseeing. One of them, Jake, a tall guy with a gaudy t-shirt emblazoned with a neon logo and a backward baseball cap, decided to escalate the situation. He reached into his backpack, pulling out a bottle of water with the precision of someone who had rehearsed this moment countless times. "Hey, tough guy, think you can handle a little splash?" Jake taunted, flicking the bottle towards Sir Edward. The water arced through the air, landing with a light splash against the guard's polished boots. A few droplets scattered, glistening in the sunlight, but Sir Edward remained as composed as ever, his eyes never leaving the crowd. Jake laughed, the sound echoing off the surrounding buildings. "Oh, come on! Show us some spirit! Or are you too stiff for a bit of fun?" Another tourist, Lily, joined in, tossing a handful of loose change towards Sir Edward's feet. Coins clinked harmlessly, but Jake wasn't satisfied. "So, what's it gonna be? Protect your honor or what? Seriously? Who does he think he is? It's just a guard, not a contestant on some reality show." But Jake's entitlement was palpable. He strutted forward, hands planted on his hips, exuding the false confidence that comes with paying for the privilege of disrespect. "Come on, man, don't be such a square," Jake sneered, attempting to nudge Sir Edward's bearskin hat askew. The guard's posture remained impeccable, his hands neatly clasped behind his back. The crowd began to take notice, phones raised to capture the unfolding drama. Some tourists snickered, others frowned, and a few whispered indignantly, "Well, protect your honor or don't. It's your call," Jake continued, clearly enjoying the stir he was causing. "Are you going to let a bunch of tourists like us disrespect your precious traditions?" The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. Sir Edward's jaw tightened ever so slightly, a flicker of restrained anger in his eyes. Inside, he was battling the urge to respond, to remind these entitled strangers why respect mattered. But he held firm, embodying the discipline and honor that defined him. "Seriously, dude, what's your problem?" Jake pushed further, stepping dangerously close. "We're just trying to have a good time. No need to get all serious about it. We all know this isn't just about a smile or a splash of water. It's about a deep-rooted disrespect for traditions that have stood the test of time. These tourists, armed with their disposable income and a sense of entitlement, believe they can trample over centuries-old customs without consequence." Suddenly, Jake took it a step too far. In a bold, reckless move, he shoved Sir Edward lightly. The guard remained steady, but the force of the push caused the nearby horse to snort nervously, its eyes wide with unease. The crowd's reaction was instantaneous. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the onlookers. Some leaned in to see what was happening. Others began recording the scene on their phones, eager for the viral content. "Whoa, buddy! Don't mess with the guards!" Someone shouted from the back, but Jake ignored the warning. His arrogance knew no bounds. The horse, now visibly agitated, pawed at the ground, sensing the rising tension. Sir Edward took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment pressing down on him. The peaceful facade was crumbling, and he knew he had to act before things spiraled out of control. "Enough," Sir Edward finally spoke, his voice calm, yet carrying an undeniable authority. The sudden firmness in his tone silenced the crowd. All eyes were on him now, the once mocking tourists now facing the full force of his unyielding presence. Jake, momentarily taken aback, tried to recover his bravado. "Or what? You're going to do something about it?" We all see it now. The thin veneer of civility peeling away to reveal the true disrespect beneath. The guard's unwavering stance contrasted sharply with Jake's brazen behavior, highlighting the clash between enduring tradition and fleeting modern arrogance. As the tension reached its peak, the crowd held its breath, waiting to see how Sir Edward would respond. The stage was set for a showdown that would test the very fabric of respect and honor in the heart of London. The tension in Trafalgar Square was palpable, thick enough to slice with a knife. Jake, the relentless provocateur, was pushing Sir Edward to his limits. The crowd held its breath, smartphones ready to capture every second of this modern-day standoff. Then, out of nowhere, the unthinkable happened. Jake took another step forward, his foot catching on an uneven cobblestone. He stumbled, arms flailing wildly, and before anyone could react, he tumbled forward, right in front of Sir Edward. The group gasped collectively, and the square fell silent for a split second that felt like an eternity. But that wasn't the only disruption. Beside Jake, a young boy from the tourist group, no older than 10, started crying uncontrollably. His small face crumpled, tears streaming down as he clung to his mother's hand, clearly terrified by the unfolding chaos. "Hey, buddy, are you okay?" Sir Edward asked, his voice calm and steady, slicing through the tension like a beacon of reason. Without a second thought, he stepped forward, bending down to the boy's level. "Everything's all right, little one. Don't be scared," he soothed, his authoritative yet gentle tone providing immediate comfort. "Here's the guard, breaking protocol to help a child. Now that's something you don't see every day. Seriously, who does that? It's not like he's expected to play babysitter on the job." Jake scrambled to his feet, his earlier bravado evaporating in an instant. The crowd watched, riveted as Sir Edward effortlessly lifted the boy to his feet. The absurdity of the situation wasn't lost on anyone. Here was a symbol of unwavering tradition, showing genuine humanity. The mother, tears still streaming, looked up at Sir Edward with gratitude shining in her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered, clutching her child tighter. Meanwhile, Jake stood frozen, the reality of his actions crashing down on him. His friends exchanged uneasy glances, the fun they were having now looking painfully foolish. Yeah, sure," Jake mumbled, avoiding Sir Edward's steady gaze. The crowd's mood shifted instantly. What was once a mix of amusement and irritation turned into admiration and support for Sir Edward. Phones were no longer just recording the conflict. They were capturing an act of true honor and kindness. Social media feeds were already buzzing with snippets of the scene. Hashtags like #TrueHero and #RespectTradition beginning to trend. Sir Edward straightened up, giving Jake a measured look that spoke volumes. "Respecting our traditions means more than just observing them. It's about honoring the values they represent," he stated firmly, his voice carrying the weight of centuries-old heritage. The onlookers erupted in applause, the sound swelling through the square. People who had earlier mocked the guard were now cheering him on, their previous disdain dissolving in the face of his integrity. "Finally, someone with real class," one spectator muttered under their breath, echoing what many felt but hadn't voiced. Jake, now the butt of the joke, tried to muster some semblance of defiance. "Whatever, man. Just doing my job here," he said weakly, but the crowd wasn't having it. Laughter and snickers rippled through the onlookers, turning Jake's bravado into sheer embarrassment. "Looks like you're the one who needs to protect your honor now," someone in the crowd called out, and the rest nodded in agreement. The guard's actions had not only diffused the situation but also flipped the narrative entirely. It was a masterclass in maintaining dignity amidst chaos, something Jake clearly failed to grasp. As Sir Edward returned to his post, the square buzzed with renewed energy. The boy, now calm, ran back to his mother, and the tourists who had been heckling earlier approached Sir Edward with newfound respect. "You're amazing," one of them admitted, shaking his head in disbelief. The guard gave a modest nod, his expression unchanged, but his eyes reflecting a quiet satisfaction. "Thank you. Let's all remember why we're here," he replied, the weight of his words sinking in. The scene had transformed from a battleground of disrespect to a celebration of true honor and tradition. Behind the scenes, comments were flooding social media, each one a testament to Sir Edward's impact. "This is why traditions matter," read one. "Respect and honor go hand in hand," added another. The video of his interaction with the boy was already garnering millions of views, solidifying Sir Edward's status as a modern-day hero. In that moment, Trafalgar Square wasn't just a tourist hotspot. It was the stage for a powerful lesson in respect, courtesy, and the enduring strength of tradition. And as the sun set over London, the echoes of applause lingered, a lasting reminder of one guard's unwavering commitment to his duty and heritage. Within hours, the video of Sir Edward's dignified response went viral, spreading like wildfire across every social media platform imaginable. "True hero, long live British honor, and respect traditions," flooded the comment sections. It was as if the internet collectively decided to crown Sir Edward as the modern-day knight defending British heritage against the tide of entitlement. Meanwhile, the group of tourists found themselves the target of relentless online backlash. Comments ranged from "unbelievable behavior" to "delete that video before it ruins your lives." The once smug faces of Jake and his friends were now plastered with regret as they watched the internet condemn their disrespectful antics. Their phone screens buzzed incessantly, with notifications urging them to apologize, but pride, or maybe sheer ignorance, kept them silent. Local authorities wasted no time. The police arrived at Trafalgar Square to assess the situation, but the tide had already turned. The tourists were swiftly escorted out of the square, their arrogant demeanor evaporating under the weight of public scrutiny. "You've been warned," an officer told Jake, who could barely meet anyone's eyes. The reality hit hard. Their sense of entitlement had backfired spectacularly. Sir Edward, oblivious to the storm brewing online, received a barrage of thank you messages and commendations for his unwavering professionalism. Letters of appreciation poured in from locals and tourists alike, lauding him for embodying the true spirit of British tradition. His actions became a beacon of respect and honor, inspiring countless others to uphold the values he represented. By the end of the month, Sir Edward returned to his post, but this time with a different crowd gathering around him. New visitors, having heard of his heroic stance, flocked to Trafalgar Square not just for photos, but to witness the legend himself. He adjusted his bearskin hat with a subtle smile, a rare display of emotion that didn't compromise his stoic presence. "Remember, folks," Sir Edward quipped to a group of young tourists who were now watching him with admiration, "respecting the past is how we build a better future." His light-hearted jab earned a round of chuckles and nods from the group, who now saw him not just as a guard, but as a guardian of tradition. The crowd erupted in applause, their cheers echoing through the square. Sir Edward stood tall, the epitome of British heritage, as cameras flashed and people cheered. The once disrespectful tourists watched in awe, their earlier arrogance replaced by genuine respect. The transformation was complete. What began as a scene of entitlement had evolved into a celebration of dignity and honor. Behind the scenes, the viral video continued to gain traction. News outlets picked up the story, dubbing Sir Edward the viral guard, and celebrating his actions as a testament to the enduring power of tradition. Memes and GIFs immortalized his calm response, turning him into an internet sensation who reminded the world why certain traditions should be cherished and respected. In the final days of the month, Sir Edward's presence became a symbol of triumph over modern arrogance. He received invitations to speak at events and was featured in interviews, where he humbly reiterated the importance of respect and honor. Each appearance solidified his status as a beloved figure who stood firm against the erosion of cultural values. As December rolled in, Trafalgar Square was adorned with festive decorations, and Sir Edward stood amidst the holiday cheer, a silent sentinel witnessing the harmonious blend of past and present. He glanced around, seeing families, tourists, and locals united in admiration. His slight smile spoke volumes. True strength lies not in confrontation, but in maintaining one's dignity amidst chaos. "Here's to honoring our past while embracing the future," Sir Edward mused quietly, his words echoing the sentiments of the crowd. The applause swelled once more, a fitting tribute to a man who had become more than just a guard. He was a living reminder that respect and tradition are worth defending, even in the face of relentless modernity.